Okay, so today we're going to be talking about app smashing Sway and OneNote with assistive technologies to engage students. My name is Valerie Sun. I am an educator located in Southern California. Okay, and assistive technologies I find are super duper important because with distance learning, sometimes we have that gap between our students. And here I'm going to show you some ways that really can make your life easier and to really take advantage of these assistive technologies that are available in Microsoft that isn't necessarily available in Google stuff. So our agenda for today is the big plan. What exactly is Sway and what you can do with Sway? You can show me with the thumbs up, thumbs down if you have heard of Sway before. And yes, I totally forgot to mention Steve McGriff is my super duper awesome moderator today, and he will be helping me field questions. He will stop me if there's something that I didn't answer in the chat. Steve, do you want to introduce yourself really quickly too?
Hello, everyone. Such a privilege to be here with all of you and to be alongside Valerie as her wingman, watching the chat. And actually, I'm learning Sway right with all of you. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Valerie.
You're welcome. Thank you for that reminder. So here we are. What is Sway? And we have what OneNote can do, and then we're going to start some app smashing because what I love about technology is the fact that we can kind of blend them all together. So let's just start first. What exactly is Sway? And here's my silly pun. You can be swayed to use Sway because it is so easy. How many of you spend a lot of time, and I know Steve does, and I know Emily does too, a lot of time organizing the information that is on your slide when you are creating either a PowerPoint or a Google slide deck? I know, like, I probably spend half of my time on content and the other half of my time on trying to place things in the proper places, right? And what Sway does is it takes all of that away from you. It takes it not away from you to not give you a choice, but you can see the screen that I'm sharing with you. I actually didn't create this 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 design. It was all done within Sway by itself. Okay, so it's a presentation tool that makes your items look good without you spending all the time behind it as you would in a PowerPoint or in Google Slides. So you as the creator can really just focus on the content and how you want to present the content. And the best part is it is adaptable to all devices. So even if you have a mobile device, it is adaptable to it. And it is accessible directly with a link. So it's not like you have to go into Google Slides to be able to, make some changes and whatnot. And it actually offers a vertical scroll. So the one that I have chosen here is a vertical scroll, but for some of them, as you can see on the side right up here in your design, you can choose for it to have a horizontal scroll, or you can just choose for it to be normal slides. And that's all you have to choose. Okay. And you're able to integrate items such as pictures, link, and my favorite part, voice. I don't have to have a special add-on to add voice into my presentation anymore. Okay, so I love that. How do you access Sway? All you got to do is open up a new tab. So if you want to be adventurous, open up a new tab right now and just type sway.com. sway.com, and you will be able to open into a new Sway document. Okay, so for example, I just go to sway.com, and here it asks me if I want to create something new, or you can start from a document. So maybe you have a really long document that you need to make a little fancy or a little bit more easily visually appealing, you can actually upload a document and it will chunk it into different pieces for you. And then you can add in the pictures then to support what it is that you have written. Okay, so you click on create new and then you'll be able to create something new right away. How do I use Sway? I use Google Slides a lot, but I always come back to Sway because I only have to worry about the content. And for me as a world languages teacher, before Google Slides had the capacity to add voice notes to it, I always showed all of my vocabulary words through Sway, and I let my students create their vocabulary decks through Sway because they can record their voice in reading the word. I can record my voice as well so that they can practice saying those words too, which I find to be really helpful. I like the photo stack idea that you can use in Sway as well for either for events or to help them develop vocabulary where you just, it's kind of like going through flashcards. You have one after another going through and they can practice saying the words or like see all the pictures that came from an event. And my students use it because my students, just like I do, are perfectionists a lot of the times. And they're like, oh, but this isn't in the right place. Oh, that's not the right color. Or maybe you have students who like to put yellow font on white background because they haven't really yet learned how to make, a visually pleasing, easily legible presentation. So my students use it just so that they can concentrate on content, okay, without needing to worry about anything that is aesthetic. And it takes a lot of the time away and the stress away from them for that, okay? Do we have any questions right now as to how to access Sway for you and how to create a document in Sway? I'm in the chat and I don't think I see any questions.
Nope. No questions in the chat, Valerie.
All right. So, like I said before, if you have a document full of words, you can just upload the document directly and then it will chunk it up into words for you like this, okay? And everything is streamlined, as you can see right here. So you just put in your title and then you decide if you're gonna have a heading card. And then after the heading card, you put in your text, okay? Other functions in Sway, what I really like about it is the fact that it is just a simple drag and drop for pictures. And maybe you have words that are in order, kind of like how with the slide deck, you can move the slides from one to another. You can chunk this as well. You can collaboratively work on Sway with another person. So just add the other person as a collaborator and they'll be able to jump into the same Sway and work with you at the same time. To present it, you share the link and then you can lock it with a password if you want to, which is not possible from in Google Slides. I guess you can, it's just not shared with everybody, right? But I could share with I can share the link with the whole world, but protect it with a password. So it's like, it's still out there. Whereas with Google Slides, I wouldn't be able to do that. And my favorite part is the remix, because in the remix, if I don't like the way this looked, so for example, I didn't like the gold background with the blue words, all I got to do is click remix and then find the next idea that I really like, okay? I'm going to show you what this looks like. So I'm going to hop out of this for now. I'm going to click on edit. So directly from edit to presentation mode, I go into edit. You can see that here, I'm just scrolling through. This is what my text look like. So you see, and I can decide from right over here if I want it to be something bigger or if I want it to be something smaller. So, and I can emphasize and accent, and emphasize just means something is bolded. Accent just means something is italicized. I made this change right over here, and you can be swayed. Yes, you can. So I'm going to click on play so you can see how that change actually happened. So you see, instead of it being a text in yellow like it was before, it changed it directly to a smaller set of text. and I didn't have to worry about that. So in terms of design, I don't have to worry about it, which I love. And all I got to do is click it to the big one because I like the big one better. Okay. And so in going down, what are some of the accessibility items within Sway? So for your settings, here I am showing you a deck. This is me where I created a stack of images that I wanted you to look at. And I can click through simply like this to go through. So it is like a stack of cards. Or if I'm like, oh, this isn't big enough for me and I would like to have it full screen, all I have to do is click right down here in the four corners, and then this will become full screen for all of my people to see. Okay. So in my settings for Sway, I get to decide how I would like this way to be presented, right? If I want to have it have a timer on it for it to run automatically, I turned off the timer. But if you are Pachakucha fans, maybe you could set it to like 20 seconds, There is an accessibility checker, which I find to be amazing because we need to make sure that all of our student users or all of our users who are accessing our slides are able, or our presentations are able to know what's going on, to be able to describe. So you would put in a description of the pictures. And there's also the accessibility view. So this is what it looks like in settings for autoplay. You can turn it on so you can have each section, so each chunk you have be 3 seconds long or up to 1 whole minute. Any questions right now for accessibility?
No questions in the chat, but maybe someone has a question in their mind that they would like to ask.
Yes. Any questions that you would like to see? Teach students who need these supports. Ebony, yes, these supports are so awesome. And I just like the fact that it has these reminders for you, right? Like as I was preparing this yesterday, they're like, hey, you have some improvements that you can make in terms of accessibility. Google Slides doesn't do that for me. I'm not really sure what's going to happen, right? I have some hyperlink text that I also need to fix as well. So I like that this is like this. And for me, in terms of, I'm going to go back and show you what this slide deck looks like. So you see, all I did was I had a group stack over here with the information. Okay. And when I click on group stack, I had it to be medium sized, and I could put it in small size or I could put it in large size. So if I click it to the small size, I'll jump it back into play again so you can see the change that was made. And that's all I needed to do. So you see, now we see it really, really small over here. And I can click on the side over here to have my, my explanation of what the image is. So I can play with size. I didn't have to resize it myself. All I did was click on this. Okay. So super duper easy in terms of your organization. If you would like to learn more about how to use Sway because you think it's a really, really cool tool, and as most of you are probably discovering right now, it is extremely easy to use. You can earn some badges within the Microsoft Innovative Educator community. Each of these items are 500 points, and you also get a sweet little badge in your portfolio. So if you're a badge collector like me, these are some cool badges to have. Digital storytelling just basically demonstrates to you how you can put your pictures in a row together, how to best organize things. Empower reflection with Sway portfolios. This actually allows students or for you to highlight all of the work that you have done. Students use this in a way like in Google Sites when you're creating a portfolio there, you put in your documents, and then sometimes you have to resize the images and all that stuff. But over here, Sway does it automatically for you. So you can really have this reflective idea in student portfolios where they can also click directly on the record button to record what they would like to share with you as well. Whereas Google Sites or Google Slides does not necessarily offer that right away. And building literacy for your students, visually summarizing in Sway. This basically talks about how you can help your students develop literacy in everything, in all the tools that Sway has to offer for you. Okay. Yes, Amy, that is such a wonderful idea to use Sway to do art exhibitions because I mean, you have this whole idea of just a caption right there and then being able to cycle through at your own pace, at your own rhythm. And it's just a really great way to do that. So that is a quick introduction to Sway. Okay, no questions on Sway for the moment. I would like to give you 5 minutes to just test it out on your own. So hop on over to Sway, go to sway.com before I hop out of it, and click on Create New. And throw in your title. And when you click on background, as soon as you have pictures pop up, it actually has suggestions for you right over here. And you can just start typing in. So I just had pizza for lunch. So I'm just going to type in pizza. And then it looks for suggestions for me. And you're like, that's a really scrumptious looking pizza. And all you got to do is drag it over. And then my title of my Sway would be my favorite food. My favorite pizza. And I can choose a focus point. I can tell Sway that the entire image is important to me. Or I could, so this is unchecked. This would show the entire image. And you see at the bottom, it says that Sway picks the best layout depending on your device and style. So it picks it for you. So if I don't pick it, it's only going to show part of the picture. But I can change the focus of it by clicking on this dot. Maybe it is the top of the pizza that I want to focus on, or maybe it's the bottom of the image that I want to focus on. So you as a user or designer get to select how you want this picture to be shown by using the focus point. And if you want to insert a picture on your own and you just want to upload it, all you got to do is open up your files to drag in a picture. You click on plus, and then the heading will give you a brand new, like a brand new section. So it titles the sections over here for you. Or you can just click text, and then you can add text directly behind it. So here are a few moments for you to practice Sway on your own. There you go. So you have about 3 more minutes to kind of play with Sway. And for those of you who are just joining us, you're going to go to sway.com.
Valerie, there was a question in the chat. Do we have a redeem code for this session? Were you aware of that?
I am not aware of any redeem codes, no. I know that we are not offering professional development certificates, if that's what you mean. I don't think Global EdTech Academy is doing that for our participants.
I am searching in our event site to see if there was anything there.
Yeah, I remember reading that there isn't a space, that there isn't going to be a certificate that is offered. Okay. What are your questions for me as you're going through Sway? Just click around, play with the buttons, and then you can click play right away just to see what it looks like.
Valerie, I do appreciate that you chose pizza since it's just before lunch for us here in California. You've given me an idea.
Midnight pizza. And I eat pizza all the time too. So it's just my go-to, right?
Amy's asking us a question. How can we get learners to collaborate together on a Sway presentation?
That is a great question. So Amy, if you want to take a look at my screen and where it says share, you can share right over here. Sorry, you click on the three dots. Okay. How did I share this last time? To those in my organization, more options. There you go. Require password to view. What's going on? There you go. Invite people to view or edit. Okay, so I can send this to all of us in the link right now in the chat. And all of us who are in here, you are more than welcome to join this way. And you are able to, I'm going to put anyone with the link as well, because some of you are not in this organization. So if you have access to that link, you would be able to jump into my Sway and be able to collaborate together. Okay. And viewers can see the share buttons, and you can require a password to view or edit this way. Ooh, so I see we have Ebony who is in here with us right now. So Ebony, why don't you add something to the first section? I also see that Ciani is here too. So we can see all of the authors lined up just like in Google. Okay. Got about 20 seconds left for you to play. So, oh, yay! Ebony, that looks awesome. Thank you for adding in an image. I see Emily is here now too, as is, I don't know how to say Serjana Pavlov. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for adding in delicious food. There you go. Yay, look at all that collaboration that is happening. So you could definitely have people working together in the same slides. Okay, there's another pizza, Mediterranean pizza. And as you can see on the image card, it pops up with the description itself without you putting it in, which is a really cool thing. Okay.
Valerie, this is reminding me of a Thin Slides activity.
Yes, it is very similar to Thin Slides, and Thin Slides with pizza. Why not, right? Okay, so let's hop back. Now that I've got you really interested in Sway, I hope you get, you get to play with some of it on your own time and take those lessons that are the webinars that are available for you in the Microsoft Innovative Educator community. So you can earn some points and really learn how to use Sway even more. So moving on from Sway, we're going to go to OneNote. And OneNote really is like one of the most powerful things out there in terms of organization. And the best way to categorize this is I think of Google Drive as a filing cabinet where I pull out my filing cabinet and I have all of these folders, and in each folder, I have a file, right? And on each file is my document. I want you to think of OneNote as a giant binder, like a 3-ring binder where you have all of your information and you have different subject dividers in there, okay? And when you open OneNote and you go to OneNote.com, you have a choice between a personal notebook that you can definitely share with other people, or if you are part of an organization, you can also create a class notebook. Like, well, Valerie, what's the difference between a personal notebook and a class notebook? A class notebook, the 3 links, yes, I will definitely share this presentation with you, okay? So, excuse me. The difference between a personal notebook and a class notebook is that personal, it is just for you that you can share with other people. But for class notebook, your students are also, you invite your students to be in the same notebook so that you as a teacher can assign work to them. You can create a document that you have and you can distribute it out to your students. They complete it and you also see all of their individual notebooks. So I can say, I want to publish this page into this particular subject. And then my students will have access to that and they will be able to see it. Okay. And then with that, they can also, in the class notebook, I can share with the class. They could take notes, distribute and collect materials and assignments. And it is also organized and they could draw in it as well, because we've all come across notebooks that look like this, right? There's just paper sticking out everywhere. Things are everywhere. And OneNote really just helps us keep it together. So why do I use OneNote? I use OneNote because it offers a very good speech to text ability. I can speak in my ideas, and Cortana is so awesome that she's able to just put my words into text. If that's not my thing, I can also directly have her just record something. I can just record my voice automatically in there as a voice note that my students can click on. So for my students who have a hard time with reading, or for my younger learners who have a hard time with that, having the direct message in there that they click on is something that is very helpful for them. There is freehand drawing, which is also like a scribble function. And my favorite is the read function that it has for math, where if you're a math teacher, this is like a total game changer, as opposed to putting in, typing in X and then exponent 2 and trying to figure all that out. You can write in your math problems and then let your problems be inked so that it goes directly into this idea of having like a clean version of the math equation that you put in there. You can annotate a PDF, add voice directions. You have stickers, and you can integrate forms. So if you have a formative assessment that you want to accomplish for your students or with your students, you can do that as well. So here are some of my highlights. So for example, this is me writing my math problem, right? My math problem, I wrote it in like this on my screen: 3x plus y equals 10, x plus 3 equals 4y. And then I clicked ink, and then this popped up for me automatically. And if it didn't pop up the way you wanted it to, you can go in and click on a specific letter or a specific number and correct it. And you're like, well, what about some really complex things? So I had handwritten in 4x cubed plus y squared divided by 2x squared minus y. So you see you have the fix it button over here that you can click on if it didn't do it correctly like you wanted it to. After you fix it, you click ink to math. And then after ink to math, it actually asks you to select an action. Do you want it to be evaluated? Do you want to expand it? Do you want to differentiate it? Do you want to integrate it? So this is so cool for a math person, right? For a math teacher, this is like the jam right here. And the next part is also my favorite jam, because after you choose it, like you're happy with it inked, it actually asks if you want to generate a practice quiz for your students, and they would take this similar idea to your similar problem that you have to generate a quiz for you. So it definitely saves time on the teacher end in creating a new quiz. So maybe I am working like at the elementary level, I'm just working on adding and subtracting under 10, right? Up to 10. So I could put that in there and it would generate the same types of questions. And yes, just like what Steve said, teach better, work less, right? And here is the toolbar that is available for you in OneNote as well. You see the typical file home insert. And then here you have draw, you have your pen, you have your highlighter, you got your eraser. And this little bit is the lasso that you would lasso around a math problem that you've written. And then so you lasso around it, and then you click on math, like right over here, and it will transform your equation that you have. Okay. So those are a few highlights. And you could definitely learn more. Like OneNote goes super duper in depth. So you can take all of these awesome trainings from the Microsoft Innovative Educator community and earn some OneNote badges. You have an introduction to OneNote just so that you can understand where it is, how to use it. There's the OneNote Teacher Academy, how you use it as a teacher using the classroom notebook as opposed to your personal notebook. They have a whole section just dedicated to math if you are a math teacher, because that is the really awesome part, right? And then there's all of the accessibility functions that are available because the Immersive Reader is there as well. Okay. Questions on the awesomeness of OneNote. And to access OneNote, all you got to do is go to OneNote.com and boom, you are going to be in OneNote. Assuming that
Valerie,
you are
there's no
signed
questions
into Microsoft. Okay, great.
Valerie, there's no questions in chat, but I have a question for you.
Yes.
And it may be obvious, but so we've just seen OneNote and Sway.
Mm-hmm.
So in Sway,
Mm-hmm.
can I connect to a
Mm-hmm.
OneNote document? And while I'm in OneNote, can I connect to a Sway document?
Yes.
Is it just a matter of establishing a link, or
Yep.
does it put in like an interactive frame, or does it just click and take you to the link?
Click and take you to the link. So it would be just like how I have a link over here to the Microsoft Innovative Educator community. I would just say
like that.
click
Okay.
on this OneNote. Yeah, click on this OneNote page or click on this. Can you embed Sway on a OneNote page? You definitely can do that. And you just drag it on over. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does embed mean actually it's there, you can see it and interact with it? Or does it just mean that the code is there to link you, the hyperlink to take you back out to Sway?
The hyperlink is there. But what you can do is, if you have them side by side, you could just drag it in. I don't know how to say that properly because that is literally what I do. I have my split screen and then I drag one to the other one. Okay. An example of the vocabulary, it was with my previous school district and that account got closed. So I don't have access to those vocabulary sessions, to those vocabulary. Like I spent so much time creating the vocabulary and I lost it all because it was associated with that account and that account got closed. But you can think of it as how I had it over here with a stack. So you see I have a group stack right over here. So then you would just put in the picture and then you could put in the word over here. Okay.
Or have the students do one or the other.
Mm-hmm. Or have students do one or the other. Exactly. Okay. So now, and then we talked about app smashing, right? So you know about Sway, you know about OneNote. Let's do some really cool app smashing stuff because why not? Because we can, right? So did you know that you could put Flipgrid automatically into OneNote, which is pretty easy. And you can sway your heart toward OneNote because I would like for you to share your ideas on Flipgrid if you'd like, you know? You can complete the Flipgrid. Which assistive technology tools are you most excited about to reach all of your students or in terms of preparation for yourself? But before we do that, I want you to see the awesomeness of the Immersive Reader that is available in Flipgrid because Flipgrid is a Microsoft item now. Just take a look. Here within the Immersive Reader, you can choose if you want to have a female voice or a male voice. You can decide how fast you want the voice to read it to you in, which I think is really cool. You can play with all of the text. Maybe you don't want to read at Calibri level. You want some other text if you wanted to, two different types of fonts. You can have the highlight in different colors. So as it is reading, what color is it highlighted in? You can control the text size. And the next part, You have syllables. So think of your young readers who are practicing reading. You can break words up into syllables and you can label the parts of speech in that text. So you have nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and you can change the colors if you want to, if those don't suit you. And it does work for all sorts of languages. You just have to set it. So for example, I've turned it all on and it has adverb, verb, and all of these items right here for you. And so my text is maybe written in English and I want to translate it. So there is this translate function. I could translate it directly to French or any of the other languages that are available. I did do a test yesterday though. Even so, I was super excited that it was able to switch from English to Mandarin without a problem. And it did have a problem when it was switching between English and French. So I had to choose the language that I wanted to be in. If I wrote it all in French, then it was able to read in French. Like it picked it up. But then if I had it set in English and I had French words in there, it would read the French with an English accent, or vice versa, it would read the French with an English accent. So that is something awesome for you to try if you would like to. Ooh, we don't have that much time though, right, Steve?
Nope.
Okay.
So about 3-4 minutes, and then we can do more question and answers.
Yes. So you don't have to go to that Flipgrid if you don't want to then. And then lastly, for those of you who know me, you know how much I love Nearpod. Sway goes directly into Nearpod. And the best part is they have a ton of Sway that has already been created for you. So one of the contents that you can add is Sway content that either you have created as a teacher or that Microsoft has already created for you. So for example, here are the staff picks. Okay, you can talk about the animals, the countries, the continents, famous landmarks. You do have to have a Microsoft 365 account to be able to have access to all of this. But when you do, it is all there. And there are just so many things going on. Like I'm going to go into Nearpod to show you. I had it open earlier. And hi Nearpod. Here is my Nearpod and Sway. I'm just going to preview it for you so that you can see what it looks like. And so you see my Sway is directly in there, and here is the Sway on amphibians. And I scroll down, whoops. And then on each of these cards, I can click on it to find out more about them. I can go to the next image, live part of their whole life on water and on land. And I exit out of here. And then so I can go through an entire lesson on these pre-made Sway that is available. And then it always ends with, see here is a slide deck that I can run through to review all of the vocabulary words that we have learned. And then there's always a class activity that is embedded in there. So there's a think, pair, share here. And what surprised you most about what you've learned. Okay, so it is absolutely in here for you where you can AppSmash and put Sway directly into your Nearpod if you are a Nearpod user for your schools. And at the very end, it's just a little bit about me. I taught for 14 years at all grade levels from preschool to doctoral candidates. And now I'm a dual immersion and edtech consultant. And I am happy to be here to be able to show you these really cool tools that I find to be super helpful for me. If you need to reach me, my email is right there at valsen@gmail.com, or you can tweet at me if you would like at Mademoiselle Val Sunshine. And that is what I have for you. So everybody in the link can view, and I am going to put this right in here for you. so that you have access to the Sway so that you can get to all of those tutorials that you are interested in. I am here to answer your questions now. What are some things that you would like for me to show you? This is a very intro, like beginner's one. So, Ebony, you're welcome. I'm glad it is helpful for you. Questions? Yes, you can test everything right now.
As Valerie and I have done these kinds of webinars over the last few years, we also recognize that for many of you, it's a whole lot of new ideas, and it can be overwhelming to hear and listen to that many ideas. So we really encourage you to do one thing, try one of these things, and develop your skills with just that one thing, then move on to the next thing.
Juanita, I am so glad that you are in love with Sway because it really is just so easy, especially for those of us who have a hard time with letting go of the design aspect, right? We're like, we can't have something that is not pretty out there, you know? I am going to show you right now when I go to edit, just to show you what the design aspect looked like. So here's my design. These are all my cards, right? So you see, all I had to do was just put in my text. I don't have to worry about my text. I can decide if I want it to be big or small though, you know? And I go over to design and I click on style. So here is where I can choose that I want it to be horizontal. So if it's horizontal, I get to see it right away to see what it looks like. So it's like a live showing. And then if I want it in slide form, here's what it looks like with slide form. And it tells you how you can do this. And then you can customize your way. I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling really flowery today. I want something a little bit more floral. So there it is in floral form with bow ties and everything. So it has a completely different feel and I don't have to worry about it. Hyperdocs in a Sway? I guess that's possible. I never thought about it that way, but we could definitely do hyperdocs. And then they just get to explore differently, right? That's a little tricky though, because usually with hyperdocs, you're writing in information. So unless each student had their own copy of Sway with your information that you want them to use to explore, otherwise it would be everybody writing in the same document at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the easy solution is, of course, you simply have a link to the hyperdoc inside Sway, and then you're in Sway working along, and then students jump out to the hyperdoc.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's definitely a way. Or coming back to design, if you don't want to do this, you just want to click remix, and it remixes for you, and you just go to the one that you like. You're like, oh, I don't really like how it's dark like that. Like, what is easier to read for me, you know? So there's this, and then you really just get to choose. Super easy.
Well, there's about 1 minute, which would allow 10 minutes of time for participants to figure out the next session they might like to go to at the top of the hour. Any last encouraging words for our participants?
I hope I've swayed you over to use Sway.
Yeah. Valerie, you woke up with your pun hat on this morning.
I did. It's just so easy.
Funny.
And OneNote is just so powerful. Like it does get overwhelming because there's so much stuff you can do in OneNote. So once you get past the hump of there is so much, just take your time. Just, do one thing, as Steve said, right? And thank you very much for attending. I appreciate all of you being here, being awake at odd hours of the night, depending on where you are in the world. So thank you, thank you. De rien, Mini, merci d'être venu. I will stop the recording now.